So you're thinking about moving to Fort Worth, Texas? In this video, we're going to cover 7 reasons why you may not want to move to Fort Worth. I'm Robert Owen, your Dallas, Frisco, and Fort Worth realtor, and moving to a new city can be very daunting. There's a lot to consider, and what I found is that people who are considering moving to Fort Worth only hear about the good things. But I think it's important for people who are considering moving to Fort Worth to not only consider the good, but also weigh the bad. And sometimes there's not so many good things going on in a city. So let's dive into the 7 reasons why you may not want to move to Fort Worth. Let me know if there are any of these reasons surprise you. I'd love to hear your comments about them below. So let's start with the most obvious reason you may not want to move to Fort Worth, and that's the weather. The weather on average and the temperatures here are about 96 degrees in the summer, and we get about 20 days or more of 100 plus degree temperatures. It's not as bad as Houston, but the bad news is that the experts are predicting that we will see more of these extreme heat days. And Fort Worth, one of the negative things resulting from these extreme temperatures that we are experiencing here in Fort Worth, is that there are more heat-related illnesses going on. So from 2021 to 2022, there was a 115% increase in the number of heat-related illnesses. There are also longer stretches in the summer here of no rain. And with less rain in our future, that leads to water conservation. Although 2024 has seen a ton of rain. And a crazy thing is that a lot of people don't follow the water conservation rules. So there is something that you need to be aware of before you would consider moving to Fort Worth. Is that because of the extreme temperatures? And it's not just the heat. We're also on the south end of what's considered Tornado Alley. So we do get the occasional tornado, and I have seen 2 of them, scary stuff, but we also have high winds, hailstorms, things like that that can damage a roof, which in turn causes you to, well, get your roof replaced, which is not cheap, more than you would normally. In the 40 years that I have lived here, I've only seen 2 major hailstorms. And when I say major, I mean like softball sized hail. I mean like big baseball sized hail. It was scary stuff. Another reason why you may not want to move to Fort Worth is due to crime. Some parts of the city are definitely impacted by crime more than other parts of the city. According to neighborhoodscout.com, Fort Worth's crime index is a 12, and that is on a scale from 1 to 100, with 12 being the lowest or 1 being the lowest and 100 being the highest. And when it comes to crime, so do your homework when it comes to finding that neighborhood that's going to work well for you and your lifestyle. And definitely look at different statistics when it comes to crime. So another reason you may not want to move to Fort Worth is because of the population increase. We are experiencing some serious population growth. So according to the most recent U.S. Census Bureau, found that Fort Worth is the 3rd fastest growing city with an increased population of 13,000 people between 2020 and 2021. And Fort Worth's current population is almost 1 million. It's 935,000 people. So a lot of people like Fort Worth because it is growing so rapidly, but that could also hurt the infrastructure within Fort Worth, especially if jobs aren't able to keep up with the growth of people that are moving in here. And a recent expert said that it very well could be the case. So with an increased population, we're looking at more drivers on the road, which leads to more traffic. And that's the other point I want to bring up when considering moving to Fort Worth, Texas, is the traffic. Traffic has definitely increased over the years because of the population growth in Fort Worth, in all of North Texas, in fact. But now we have about 1,000 people moving here per week. You're going to get hit with traffic, toll roads, and there are other ways to get around Fort Worth. You have Interstate 20, as well as Highway 183, 121, as well as Chisholm Trail Parkway, which is also a toll road. So there are definite routes that you can take, but just know that the traffic here has increased over the years. The fifth reason why you may not want to move to Fort Worth is because of the schools. Fort Worth Independent School District received a C rating from the Texas Education Agency. And of course, that is not the best rating that you would want for your school district. According to Texas Tribune, 71% of students were considered at risk of dropping out of school in Fort Worth ISD. Historically, Fort Worth ISD schools have performed lower or below surrounding districts in the suburbs. So that is another downfall of living in Fort Worth proper. There are some alternative school options in Fort Worth. There are charter schools as well as private schools. Many individuals who have kids who are school age also consider these options. Another reason you may not want to live in Fort Worth is due to the electricity problems. Over the past few years, there have been instances of extreme heat as well as extreme cold conditions that have impacted our electricity grid. ERCOT has been in the news for failing Texas residents when millions are without electricity. During record-breaking freezing temperatures like 3 years ago, and with Fort Worth's rapid population growth, it is probably the contribution that has been overwhelming our grid. And it's not just during cold temperatures, it's also during these high heat days that we've been experiencing here in North Texas, and that has been a little bit overwhelming to the grid. So that is definitely a downfall of moving to Fort Worth, but honestly, anywhere in DFW area, you're going to be experiencing these types of electricity hardships. If this is the first time to our channel and you want to know everything that there is to know about living in Dallas, Frisco, and Fort Worth, that's DFFW, please subscribe to our channel, hit the bell if you want to be notified, and we will let you know everything that there is to know about living in this great metroplex. And for our last reason for not wanting to move to Fort Worth is that there are no professional sports teams. Wah, wah, wah. So if you love sports and you want sports teams in your backyard, Fort Worth is probably not the best place. We have the Dallas Cowboys in Arlington. We have the Texas Rangers also in Arlington that play games there, and Mavericks and the Dallas Stars play in downtown Dallas. There are no professional sports teams in Fort Worth though. So in order to get to those games, you got to jump on I-30 and have a little commute to Arlington or to Dallas. You can Uber, you can taxi, you can ride share, you can do all of those great things to get to the games, but you also have no public transportation to get from Fort Worth to Arlington or to downtown Dallas. Now there is one rail, but if you lived in a city like Atlanta, where the public transportation is connected to other cities or suburbs in the area, did any of these reasons surprise you? Let me know in the comments below, and we will see you in the next video.